Hi there, I'm Cailyn for those of you who haven't met me. So, talking about the living canvas is easiest if I were to pretend that you and I were just chatting here inside my studio. So let's do that. I'm gonna have a quick little walk around. I'm just gonna sit. This is my little lounge area. So the whole point to working with me is because my philosophy is that your art and yourself need to coexist and co-create a lot more than just a slap and stick little image that floats on your body. When tattoos are done right, the art enhances your body and your movement, your flow. You enhance the art through your movement. So as you move and turn, the art grows and evolves and shifts, and you can use that to your advantage. And that's the whole point to the living canvas, is it's got this profound message that goes with you. You know, it's always emitting out. A picture tells 1,000 words. So when people look at you, it's saying something to them before you actually connect and talk. Your tattoo is kind of like the front cover of a book. It's making a statement, letting people know whether or not they want to turn the page and take a closer look, you know? So when I work with you, I'm looking at creating those beautiful pieces that have an intention. What's the point to the art? What's the overall message? What do you want to see achieved? Are we here to draw the eye up and around your body and away from an area that you're uncomfortable with or feel needs to be reworked? Like if you have a scar, such as, say, I don't know, a C-section is fairly common for a lot of my clients, when it's not really for anyone else, it's just for them. We can do that. But when you're a woman, you want to enhance your body, feel longer and leaner. So you want to draw the eye around your body in a way that enhances your form, and you feel absolutely stunning walking around in your skin with this beautiful permanent piece of art that's almost like fashion in a sense, but it's yours. It represents everything that you love, want, need to feel. That's a big thing. We draw in your culture, things that have meaning to you. So when you approach me with, I have this idea, I found this on Pinterest, I'm going to want to dive a whole lot deeper and craft something with you as a co-creation in the moment and make it grow and bloom. And sometimes while we're tattooing, the idea continues to evolve, and it goes from like something that's quite nice and beautiful to mind-blowing, just made it that much more. It's like a masterpiece in itself, but it's yours for you to wear, no one else. So the energetics behind tattooing, this is where like your sacred skin concept comes in, your physical sovereignty. If it's not done properly, you aren't in love with your tattoo, then it feels ick. Maybe, well, I've heard stories where people felt almost like they were bullied or pressured into a tattoo being done or looking a certain way. The idea got a little disjointed, or it lost its original essence, and you got stuck with something that you have absolutely no connection with. So it's almost like you become disconnected with your body, and that's not cool either. So the whole point to the living canvas is to feel wonderful in your skin. And when you have art that's enhancing that feeling, that's the name of the game. Now, to ante it up a little bit more, it's where we use it as a healing grounds in essence. So when you lose someone that you love dearly, then you create a commemorative tattoo that becomes another game changer because you're embodying a relationship that, say, I personally have no idea what it was about. So now I'm looking into a personality or another human that is not with us anymore, and you sense all this emotional love and grief that's going on into bringing that memory to life in the skin so that it's always carrying that bond that is gone, but still warms the heart enough to know you're keeping that feeling with you, never going to lose it kind of thing. And that's a process. So when you end up with something that you are just no connection at all and it's a cover-up tattoo, so what goes on there is you have to design the art so that it makes it completely disappear, essentially. And there's some limitations, and you got to work with some of the ways that you can go about doing this. And you got to be very laser lucid clear on what it is that you're using to put over top. Because at the end of the day, that memory of it will still carry enough juju to affect your mojo. So if it's just slightly a little bit there, someone can look at the tattoo and say, hey, that's rad. You go, yeah, it's covering up this mofo. You can still kind of see it here. Yeah, no. Got to do it right. Because it's about blooming to the point where you forget that there was ever any sort of ick, energetic crap embedded in your skin that affect you on all these other levels. So if we are going to go about doing this, the other thing I want you to think about with your tattoo is your location on your body. Where is it? What kind of quotes and sayings are out there about that area on your body? And if I'm losing you, well, think of it like this. Take a knee, bend a knee, the nose, shouldering, back breaking, things like that. Like the location carries some other influential things with it where you kind of want to shift it so it has more of a positive connotation to go with that area on your body. So let's say you had knee surgery and the whole ha 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 take a knee. Well, maybe it might be a message of empowerment and self-care to do with reclaiming your say your boundaries instead of bowing down to someone else. You know what I mean? Like there's you gotta look a little deeper beyond just the skin and see what's going on in your life too. That's always a bonus. From there are metaphysical properties associated with the body as well. So if you're not too sure, you can always Google it and see, oh, yeah, that kind of makes sense that, maybe my intuition is off a little bit because I have had a cold or something and my nose is always congested, blah, 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 blah. And you'll find that on the Google. So let's talk about the skin blemishes that may be apparent in the skin. Typically with scars, it takes up a good chunk of it because there are different types of scars. There's surgical scars, there's self-harm scars, there's, I think I said surgical. But anyways, you got like hypertrophic that are raised, and that's typically from self-harm. You can find some that are more like, it's almost like engraved or carved where a good chunk of flesh is missing. Like there's one on the back of my dad's arm. He got a good wallop from a fan belt off of a go-kart when he was quite a bit younger. And, full of texture. Oh my God, is that thing like got texture? So when I'm looking at things like that, you got to ask yourself how you can use that texture to your advantage and things. And in some cases, that might be like a really, really cool waterfall element, like turn it into moving water in like a outdoors kind of scene. One girl that I know, she had her knee worked on, and the first thing I seen was a giant cocoon like make a butterfly come out of it, just using the shape that was all there. They had like all this neat three-dimensional elements that you could work into your advantage. Or one girl had surgery done on her abdomen. There was like the skin didn't quite align when she got stitched up, so she has like a little bubble fold that like kind of sticks out. Ideally, you know, line it up so it looks like the very tail end corner of like some floral work, so it makes it kind of look like the petal is lifted and raised and moving. Or it could have been a water drop, you know, things like that. There's looking at it with that open mindset is what's going to turn your tattoo into something that is more of an enriched experience that represents your life, and you know, you're just being fun and playful, and you know. But the other thing is with stretch marks, I was asked about that from a friend that's overseas, and it was a really, really good question. She had been turned down, and it's unfortunate, but you can work with stretch marks. The biggest fear, I think, is the technical application to how stretch marks are approached when tattooing. And I know a lot of tattooers have tattooed over them. This is nothing new or major, like easy peasy. I've worked with a lot of female clients over the years, so this is a really, really easy area for me to approach. I know how to work the skin. I get the odd curveball, but you know, you work with it in the moment. But anyways, I'll shut up and I'll just get to the point here. Stretch marks, if you're gonna line over top of them like you would with regular intact skin, what happens is it's like taking a felt tip marker, like it's really wet, running it across the page, and you like see it like bleed out. The line work just kind of spreads in this paper. Similar to that is what you'll see in the skin, and it's not necessarily just stretch marks too. You just can have really, really delicate skin, and you'll see that bleed out happen. So when you're tattooing, you can't hit it like a jackhammer. You gotta line sculpt more so than actual solid lining. So if you're gonna powerhouse through it, yeah, it's not a fun thing to do, and lots people, you know, worry about the clock and the budget. So just acknowledge that you might need to slow down and accept a little bit more out of your pocketbook to get it done well. And you know, if you're gonna pay for it, pay for it right the first time. It'll save you less later. So the other thing with stretch marks is while you're working, the skin will inflame. And when it inflames, it just more or less raises up. Like it just gets cranky and it just, I don't know, it swells, raises, and then it relaxes. It doesn't stay that way. It's just in the moment that can happen, so don't be alarmed. The other element is because the skin is already damaged and fairly delicate, is it doesn't take much to overwork the skin either. So you gotta have a delicate hand to approach it. So if you're doing a bunch of coloring and shading and like really deep saturation kind of work, yeah, you want to relax on that and, you know, do it right the first few rounds. Don't sit there and treat it like it's perfectly intact skin, because you can get chewed up in a ground up hamburger. But I know some clients will approach that kind of work in smaller sessions, you know, and then that's a game plan that you come up with, and or that we would come up with, etc., to go about completing the art in a way where it's going to be a more streamlined process. Because let's face it, if you got a really deep surgical scar or something to that nature, it's a little more intense than regular intact skin. You feel it. There might be areas where you don't feel anything on the surface of your skin. And what happens is when you actually go in there, deep down, you might feel that into your bones, but it'll be numb on the surface. And it's just the way the nerves fire up. It's different for everyone. And I had one client that had surgery done on her bowel. So she had a very large pelvic scar. It was really similar to a C-section, and she was convinced that she wouldn't feel a damn thing. So the first round in there, I got the whole thing outlined, but as she was flopping around like a fish out of water, it was a very uncomfortable experience for her. So we got the basic bones taken care of so that the next appointment we could approach it with some numbing agents and do more of the intense work, which is, your saturation, your coloring, and your shading. And when you're approaching it with a light hand to see someone in pain like that, it's hard for me as an artist because, well, I have a little bit of empathy. Sometimes I joke and make out like I'm a sadist, but that's just me being playful and fun in the moment. It puts pressure on me to try to almost race the clock and get it done as fast as possible because I hate seeing that you're literally experiencing what it would be like to be in a torture chamber, which was something I like to call my little studio for shits and giggles, but I don't like to see it realized or materialized before my eyes. So when it comes to these things, these are things that we would discuss and come up with a proper game plan during a consultation. And when we make the art, I need a minimum of an hour of your time because we're going to create it together. We're going to meet and create this together. And there's a lot of work that goes into creating a living art that enhances your body, where your body enhances the art, because behind the scenes, I can spend hours putting it together, and it's all unseen. You only get to see about 30% of it when I'm actually tattooing. I go quite a bit deeper. There's a lot of backstory and things like that I like to get to, where I find if I don't do those things, the art, I don't feel anything when I'm tattooing. Like, I have no connection to the art or to you, and the tattoo, it doesn't feel like it should, which is, real art masterpiece kind of stuff. Like, it's nice when people are like, I give you full creative range to do whatever you want. And that is almost like a creative block for me, because that takes away from the whole philosophy behind enriching your life using art and pictorial elements and just layering into your skin, where it just feels like it's enhancing everything in all the right ways, where I watch your eyes light up while it's coming together. When it's just put on paper, some designs look beautiful on paper. They look like shit on the skin, depending where you put it on the body. Like, it just, no form or flow. Like, things look different when you design for the body. When I put it down on paper, how it actually looks is really like, it makes no sense. But when I actually put it on to you, and you can see all the twists and turns and the direction that it's going to draw the eye up and around and just play up your body, that's what it's about anyways. So if we're gonna make art, we gotta treat your canvas proper, because at the end of the day, the coolest thing about tattoos as a living art is when art is done well, it can generate a movement. So when you got living art, living in the skin and literally making moves with you, it's making statements and talking to people before you have a chance to make eye contact with them. Yeah, that's what I'm all about. You can generate change, and it can be as simple as just giving you a little bit of a physical boost, mojo, with a beautiful, well-crafted tattoo that goes out into the world, and you never know what your message will say to someone else, and never know what'll happen. So, anywho, I have a audio that you are welcome to take advantage of that will help you generate some ideas for crafting your own divine design to bring during a consultation with myself or whoever art style that you're drawn to. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, all of us tattoo artists, we're different. Our art styles are different, and we're not meant to tattoo at all. So It excites me, the idea of enriching everybody's life. So if you find someone that's gonna execute art in a way that I know I can't hold a candle to because it's not my style, by all means book with them. And that's why I have the application booking process. I have it so that I can determine for both of us whether or not another artist is a better fit. If I know I can rock it out, for sure we'll work together. But it's all about making awesome art, and that application process will save us a lot of time, especially if, say, you book time off work to just come and have a quick consultation with me. It's kind of a letdown for you. So doing it this way is my way of enriching the whole experience for both of us. So anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment below. And thank you again, my darling Jess overseas, for your question about stretch marks. And if you have any more, I'm happy to chat about them. Enjoy your weekend, everyone.